Next on ABC7's Good Morning El Paso weekend, an oversight motorcycle crash puts at least one of the hospital with serious injuries. We have what police are saying so far. And a historic game coming up for the Miners. We take a look at all the preparations in place now for tonight's festivities. And El Paso's largest school district now in high gear, working to get the info on its big bond out to the community, but not everyone's happy with the plan. Now, storm track weather, Stephen.
Temperatures are heating up in the borderland, and we're going to be near record highs as we head through the next couple of days. I'll have those details coming up.
With all the news you need to start your Saturday, September 17th, ABC7's Good Morning El Paso weekend starts right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso weekend.
After two straight wins at home, the El Paso Chihuahuas lost some steam on the road. El Paso falls to Oklahoma City in Game 3 of the Pacific Coast League Championship Series. The Chihuahuas can still take home the championship, though. There's still two more games left, and the Dogs only need one more to win. Well, good morning, El Paso, and thank you for joining us. I'm Andrew J. Polk. We'll have the highlights of the Chihuahuas game coming up later in sports. In the meantime, though, checking in on some news from overnight. A motorcycle crash leaves one person in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Happened last night around 7:30 on the 5100 block of Marcus Uribe in northeast El Paso. Our crews were there as police had streets blocked off. Special traffic investigators were called to the scene, and the street remained closed for several hours as they investigated. Police have not yet said what the cause of the crash was. We'll, of course, update you as soon as any more information is unleashed, so look for the latest on air and online at KVIA.com. And the ABC7i team is learning new details about the murder of Erica Tijerina. 21-year-old Anthony Michael Bowden was arrested Tuesday and charged with her murder. Bowden is a soldier and had been stationed at Fort Bliss since 2014. On August 8th, police reported they found the body of Eric Tijerina, now known to be a transgender woman who went by the name Erica, inside a housing complex in the 200 block of Lisbon. Court documents state that she was stabbed multiple times. The documents further detail how her stepfather found her dead inside the apartment. The stepfather told police she was working as an escort and she would take customers to that apartment. Police say they found Bowden's cell numbers on Tijerina's cell phone. By checking cell phone tower logs, they learned Bowden was in the area shortly before Tijerina's body was found. Documents state that surveillance cameras also captured a vehicle matching the one owned by Bowden. When detectives interviewed Bowden, he allegedly admitted to having sex with Tijerina, but he denied killing her. A friend of Bowden's told police Bowden admitted to her murder. We'll, of course, stay on top of this story as new details come in and the investigation continues. Again, check for the latest there on air online at KVIA.com as well as on our social media. And the three suspects charged in the brutal death of 10-year-old Victoria Martins are pleading not guilty. In Albuquerque, Fabian Gonzalez, Jessica Kelly, and the victim's mother, Michelle Martins, are all facing charges of child abuse resulting in kidnapping and death of Victoria, seen here. Yesterday's arraignment came 3 weeks after authorities say the girl was drugged, sexually assaulted, and then killed and even dismembered. Her body was found by police in her mother's apartment the day she was supposed to celebrate her 10th birthday. Authorities say her remains had been wrapped in a blanket and set on fire in a bathtub. And back around the borderland, the mother of baby Brianna is scheduled to be released next week. That's according to the New Mexico Corrections Department. Stephanie Lopez was convicted of child abuse back in 2003. She was sentenced to 27 years in prison for not doing anything to stop the repeated rape and abuse of her 5.5-month-old daughter at the hands of her father and uncle. Due to good behavior, Lopez is set to be released after serving only 13 years. She will still have to serve 2 years of parole. Brianna's father and uncle are each serving more than 50 years in prison for their role in her death. Well, switching to our Storm Track weather now, let's get your first forecast with Storm Track meteorologist Stephen Decatur. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Andrew. A fairly pleasant start to the day, but it is going to be heating up as we head into the afternoon once again. There's a look at those current conditions. You can see 70 degrees in El Paso, 65 in Las Cruces, and it is going to be a warm one this afternoon. So if you are heading to that UTEP game, temperatures are going to be in the 90s. Beautiful sunset photo yesterday evening sent in by Braden. Thank you so much for that. And again, temperatures in the 90s as we head into this afternoon. So again, a warm day on the way. If you're going to way out west as well, you may want to bring that sunblock with you. It is going to be very sunny, wall-to-wall sunshine, winds very light, so not much of a factor, not going to cool you off any. It is going to be a warm day in the borderland, and even warmer temperatures are on the way. Plus, I'll be talking about some rain chances in the forecast. That's all coming up. Back to you, Andrew.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Check back in just a bit. In the meantime, though, the El Paso Independent School District has just under 2 months to work to pass its $500 million bond plus. But as the district holds more informational meetings for its voters, some taxpayers are taking a stand against it. Daniel Lopez is one of dozens of El Paso district taxpayers, part of a community group who plans to vote no to the EPISD bond. The group believes the district should have been more inclusive in the planning and let all voters have a say. Its biggest concern is the bond's price tag, which Lopez says is an alarming number for the average homeowner. Board members say ultimately it's a taxpayer-by-taxpayer decision.
If you look at EPISD's tax rate, which is the very lowest in the region, hasn't been raised in 9 years, that we're long overdue for some new investment, particularly when the state hasn't stepped up to really fill the gap.
Lopez says if the bond was a smaller amount, that could help mend the broken trust with the district. And after 5 years of promoting allegations of President Obama's birthplace, Donald Trump has reversed course.
President Barack Obama was born in the United States, period.
Trump acknowledging Obama was born in the U.S. At the same time, Trump accused Hillary Clinton of starting the birther movement back in 2008, but there's no evidence of any Clinton involvement. From the blacks on Capitol Hill, the backlash was brutal, some calling Trump a disgusting fraud, a bigot, and a racist. Meanwhile, President Obama says he has no reaction.
And I'm shocked that a question like that would come up at a time when we got so many other things to do. Well, I'm not that shocked, actually. It's fairly typical. We got other business to attend to. I was pretty confident about where I was born. I think most people were as well.
Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton is calling for Donald Trump to apologize to President Obama for the claims he's made in years past on this topic. Fighting the Zika virus with the help of Planned Parenthood. That's the problem some Republican congressmen are facing now. The plan would allow Zika money in Puerto Rico to be distributed to clinics affiliated with Planned Parenthood. ABC 7 caught up with El Paso Congressman Beto O'Rourke at a town hall meeting yesterday to get his input. He said preventing the spread of the virus is what's most important and that Planned Parenthood could help. O'Rourke went on to say that focusing on solving the issue, not party values, is what will prevent Zika from spreading.
I'm glad that there seems to be some kind of bipartisan agreement to move forward, address this crisis, and do it in a rational, intelligent way that doesn't allow ideology to blind us from the problems that are before us.
Zika funding would be added to must-pass legislation intended to prevent a government shutdown October 1st. Also at the town hall, Beto O'Rourke talked about his bills that recently passed in the House, which will help veterans get quality medical care. The bills will speed up the process for veterans to see a doctor at VA clinics and will also hold VA clinics more accountable for any problems veterans might report. It will also allow for a quicker transfer of medical records if a veteran receiving care at a VA clinic decides to see a private doctor instead. 173 former immigrants from 16 different countries are now united with the same citizenship as Americans. From our New Mexico Mobile Newsroom.
Yes, I'm very excited and I hope it turns out pretty good, and I'm very glad that I'm allowed to vote now, and that's the first thing I'm going to do.
The new citizens took the oath of allegiance yesterday at the Las Cruces Convention Center. They ranged from ages 20 to 81 and came from over a dozen different countries, including Brazil, Great Britain, and South Korea. Most wasted no time in then registering to vote, just in time to have a say in the November election. So far this year, 903 citizens have been naturalized in Las Cruces. And of course, the Miners are back home this week and are getting ready for tonight's historic game. UTEP is taking on the Army Black Knights from West Point. The theme of One City, One Team will be at the forefront. ABC 7's Darren Hunt spoke with soldiers about the first matchup ever between these teams.
To be able to travel to a town where we know that we're going to be well received, that means a lot to us and to our players.
Army coach Jeff Monken said playing before a military community is special.
I personally appreciate when we go places that are patriotic and appreciate our young men and appreciate our academy and are grateful that we've got men and women who serve proudly in our military.
You want to be in the stands a little bit early for this one, as the pregame festivities will feature a show of patriotism perhaps never seen here in the Sun Bowl. The Fort Bliss and UTEP bands will perform together. There will be an Apache helicopter flyover. A huge American flag will drape the entire field, and there will be a parachute jump team delivering the game ball.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement. I mean, this is a great thing for both UTEP and the Army as well. We love the support that we get from El Paso.
Sergeant Raymond Coco is looking forward to it.
They've given out a lot of free tickets to the soldiers to be there, to be in the stands.
El Paso Mayor Oscar Leeser has purchased more than 5,000 tickets for soldiers and their families.
Love to see Army play and just hit the smackdown. Go Army.
Specialist Michael DeLucci can't wait.
It's an amazing thing that they can come down here to Texas and support our troops, and we can support them. So I'm just excited and ready to go.
I think it's outstanding, especially for a big post like this, and having the soldiers get a chance to go in and cheer on the Army. It's going to be great to see how the fans, which side the fans are going to be cheering on as the ball's moving up and down the field, because they'll be cheering on UTEP and cheering on the Army.
Darren Hunt.
I don't think you hear any boos at this game.
ABC 7.
And Army vehicles, including tanks and missile launchers, will be in the parking lots around the stadium. The first 20,000 fans will receive commemorative military ID tags, and everyone will receive a red, white, or blue towel to wave. For more information on the game, you can click on this story right now over at KVIA.com. And 100 years of Tiger Pride. That's what El Paso High School is celebrating after opening its doors back in 1916. We were there yesterday as students and staff gathered for a huge pep rally celebrating the Greco-Roman inspired campus. Famed architects Trost and Trost designed the building, which was recently named one of the most beautiful high schools in America.
Everybody knows about it across the country, and I'm always proud to say that I'm from El Paso and that this high school is part of our history and part of our legacy.
Next month, the school will attempt to break the world's record for largest high school reunion ever. It has to have exactly 3,300 alumni and faculty in attendance to break it. And happening today, the first country music festival to come to El Paso will be taking over Southwest University Park. The Way Out West Fest will be this afternoon from 4 to 11 p.m. Performers will include multi-platinum artist Clay Walker, country rock band Parma Lee, and singer-songwriter Brandy Clark. A chili cook-off and a margarita mixing competition are also set to take place. There is still time to get your tickets. They're on sale now at the Southwest University Park box office, costing $30 to $50 for general admission and $150 for VIP. And of course, don't forget to pick up your copy of the El Paso Inc. This week only in El Paso Inc. Details on the $1 million settlement between businessman Billy Abraham and the family of the man killed in a car accident. And would you believe that making energy upgrades on your building can come with no upfront costs? That's what a new county program can do for local businesses. Also, why some old adobe structures in Socorro are now a national treasure, and what it means for the restoration of the Rio Vista farm. El Paso Inc. is online at elpasoinc.com and available for home and business delivery. Call that number there at the bottom of your screen, 534-4422, to subscribe. It's a question of how much is too much. We all enjoy taking a well-deserved off time from work, but should there be shorter limits? Coming up, why county commissioners are now starting to take a look. And later, a lot more fallout over the serious Samsung cell phone problems, with the Fed now stepping in. Time now 8:13, taking a live look at traffic around the borderland from our ABC7 traffic track systems. A few specks of orange, maybe one speck of orange there down in central, otherwise a couple spots of yellow, otherwise green across the board. As we look across the borderland from the west to east side, northeast and lower valley, looking pretty good if you try to head anywhere around the borderland this morning, and conditions looking pretty clear as well. So in Storm Track weather, Stephen.
Dry air is moving in and temperatures are going to be heating up, but how long will it last? I'll have those details coming up.
Watching ABC7, where news comes first.